sure?
Wake up! Wake up! Wake up! Wake up! Wake up! Barbados, get up! Good morning. Good morning, Barbados. Good morning. Good morning to you. Good morning. Morning, morning, morning. Good morning to you. Good morning. Morning, Barbados. Good morning. Good morning to you. Good morning. Morning, Barbados. Good morning. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Morning to you.
Good morning to you indeed. Good to have you in company as we come your way live from the Wildey
Wake up,
showroom
wake
of
up, wake up,
Standard.
wake up.
Morning,
Barbados, get
Barbados.
up.
It's good to have you up and going already. Bright sunshine and lots of traffic already on the roads across Barbados as well. So we have a lot planned for you today on the show. We're hoping that you can stick around wherever you are. We've already had calls and some messages from Belize. So we have some friends at TV5 in Belize locked on and listening in. And of course, those of you watching across the diaspora, whether you're watching on YouTube or Facebook, it's always great to have you checking in to see what's happening here in Barbados. And we most certainly will tell you exactly what's going on. Today, we are sharing some poetry. Leroy Straker is going to be in to share more with us about that. He's no stranger to Morning Barbados. And also, there's a poetry series, a show, a live show that's been happening at the Sage Bar. We're going to tell you more about that and share some of the performances because we've been featuring some of the artists who have been performing at that show. Also today, it's Let's Talk HR with Hermab, and we have the president of Hermab in today, along with an attorney at law. We definitely will be looking at the new concessions bill, the changes coming up, and some of the challenges that employers might be having with that. Also on today's show, we are going to deep dive into ADHD. What does it mean? How do you spot if it might be a challenge with you or your children? We definitely will be talking about that. Al Lane, who's a family therapist, along with Cheryl Outram, an educator, they will be on the show to talk ADHD with us and a forum that's coming up. So there definitely is lots planned. If you can't stay for the entire show, remember, we're on demand, we're on YouTube. So later this evening, you get a chance to see it once again. But we want to start the show this morning by telling you about a most interesting event, so to speak, that's coming up. And it's a part of the Jehovah's Witness. Of course, we have joining us now the national spokesperson for Barbados, Craig Jones. Good morning and welcome. Good to have you with me.
Good morning, Tisha, and thank you for having me on the Morning Barbados set. We're very grateful to the Morning Barbados team because they've invited us on more than one occasion to talk about our faith and the things that are important to us. So I'm happy to be here to represent Jehovah's Witnesses today.
Excellent, and it's wonderful to hear about this event coming up on your calendar that coincides with what's going on at this time, Easter, and of course the Lenten season on the Christian calendar. So let's talk about what's coming up.
Certainly. So we are having a campaign nationally, in fact internationally. Here in Barbados, we are looking forward to welcoming many persons from our community to the commemoration of Jesus' death. This celebration is going to be held on March 24th throughout Barbados, and Jehovah's Witnesses have been involved in an active campaign starting on March 2nd to invite as many persons from our community as possible to come join us and see what this celebration is like.
Why is this day considered one of the most important days on the Jehovah's Witness calendar?
Okay, that's a very good question, because it coincides with the exact day on the Hebrew calendar when Jesus commemorated his death with a very simple ceremony with his disciples. And so each year on the corresponding day on our calendar, which happens to be March 24th this year, after sundown, Jehovah's Witnesses worldwide will gather together for a simple ceremony, just about an hour, where we reflect on the importance of that sacrifice and what his death meant for mankind.
What form does it take? How can people get involved? I know you talked about inviting members of the community in, but how does it shape up?
Okay, so it's a 1-hour celebration at All Kingdom Hall of Jehovah's Witnesses in Barbados. There's no admission, no entrance fee, there's no collection. It's a simple ceremony. We have 2 songs we're going to sing, a 1-hour Bible discourse, and within that discourse, we will actually have a commemoration of what Jesus Christ did with his disciples in that upper room in Jerusalem. And so within 60 minutes, you'll get to appreciate what his death meant, why it was so important to us, what it means for us now. And so that's why we work really hard to invite persons. Of course, we know that some persons' circumstances are different, so there are persons who may be shut-ins. For some persons, it may not be convenient to be with us physically, so we also have a hybrid arrangement where persons who can't make it in person, they can view it from the comfort of their homes. So as Jehovah's Witnesses interact with persons and they express a desire to join us, but they can't be there in person, then we ensure that they have the necessary ability to join us virtually.
I know you're usually out and about. We usually see witnesses out and about inviting people to share in the tracts and things like this. But I don't think that I've ever seen an outreach for members of the community at this level to come in. Is this different from what's been done before, or are we just amplifying it this time around from you being here?
Yeah, I like that word, amplifying. Jehovah's Witnesses, we're always talking to persons. We share our faith either formally or informally. But because of the significance of this event, we've extended a greater level of intensity to what we do. And so that's why there's this emphasis on reaching persons to invite them to this celebration. So yes, we do preach often, and we offer our magazines and our tracts, as you're correct in saying. But for this particular celebration, because of the significance of what Jesus' death means for us, we have really intensified our efforts to reach persons everywhere, even sharing the track electronically for persons, because we know a lot of persons are now into the digital world. So we share that track electronically, and embedded in that invitation is actually a short video that highlights the value of Jesus' death for mankind.
Very interesting. I didn't realize that you moved to a place where you were now sharing tracks digitally. Tell me a little bit more about that.
Of course. Well, our website, www.jw.org, is actually translated into 1,000 languages. And we felt that it was important to reach people where they are. So all of the information about Jehovah's Witnesses, what we believe, what we teach, helpful information for parents, children. I heard you mention in your introduction about things like ADHD, things that matter to people, medical information, all that's on our website. And we understand that persons consume content differently, and they prefer to consume it at a time that's convenient for them. So in addition to our in-person visits, you can learn anything you want about Jehovah's Witnesses, what we teach and what we believe, from the convenience of your home, from your personal device. and you can do that at your own pace. So we felt that that was important to let persons be able to access information about our faith and our beliefs as they wish, using modern technology.
This most certainly seems central to all that you do, because for a lot of us, engaging with witnesses is for them coming to us. How important is that to the faith, to be able to reach out and bring more people into the fold, more or less, or to witness to them?
Well, that's important to us because it's the example that our Lord and Savior Jesus set when he came to the earth, and he was raised in a very religious society. And Jesus went from door to door talking to persons about things that mattered to the average person, the ordinary person, things that made them feel special. And that's what Jehovah's Witnesses attempt to do. We share our faith based on the Bible. So we show persons from the Bible how they can improve the quality of their life, information regarding family life, finances, physical health, spiritual health. That's basically what we share. That's central to us. That's important to us, to imitate his example and to share good news with people. Atisha, we live in a world where there's a lot of things that are distressing to us. I mean, the recent news we've had about what's happening, for example, in our school system with the young persons and the sense of concern about the increase in violence and anger management issues. Those are important to us. They resonate with us as Jehovah's Witnesses because we're parents too. We have children in the school system. And we found that applying Bible principles help us in raising our children. And so we want to share that type of information with the public too, to show them that while things may look difficult, the Bible offers practical advice for everyday living.
So this event comes off on March 24th.
March 24th.
But I know that there are a series of things happening leading up to it as well.
Yes. We have a very interesting Bible-based discourse this Sunday. March 17th is entitled The Resurrection, Victory Over Death. And the idea is to help persons to see that death isn't the end of it all. We're all impacted in some way by death. You know, growing up, I always wondered why my parents were so interested in the Sunday Sun. I couldn't get it figured out. But then as I got older, I realized that section with the obituaries, people are, because we become fascinated with death, not in a morbid way, because it impacts on us. So that Bible-based discourse helps persons to see that there's comfort, there's hope, even when our loved ones pass away in death, when they fall asleep in death. Then that's not the end of it, because our Heavenly Father didn't intend for humans to die. And we think that the public will really appreciate the comfort that the Bible gives when we lose a loved one in death.
All right, wonderful stuff. So March 24th is when this 1 hour event happens at your various places of worship across the island. For people who don't have someone who's inviting them, how do they jump on? Can they just go to your website?
Yes, they can.
And navigate from there?
Yes. If they go to our website, they will see content that's related directly to our memorial celebration. They can go on. There's a section where you can use a location search to find where the closest Kingdom Hall to you is in Barbados. And when you go there, you're actually going to see the times for the celebrations. So even if you happen not to encounter one of Jehovah's Witnesses, and I'm confident that you will encounter one of Jehovah's Witnesses, because when you look at the statistics for Barbados, for every 126 Barbadians, there's one Jehovah's Witness. So we hope that we'll be able to touch every person. But if we haven't, just visit our website, www.jw.org, and you will find all the information you need to know about the celebration and the one closest to you.
All right, well, excellent. Thank you for coming in and sharing with us about what's coming up. As we certainly celebrate on the Christian calendar, you are following the Hebrew calendar in terms of your celebrations, but things certainly lining up in terms of how we observe Easter and this Lenten season, and this significant event will be coming up with Jehovah's Witnesses. The memorial that is observed annually comes up on March 24th. I'd like to thank you for coming in and sharing with us today. Very enlightening, and I'm most intrigued to learn that you are indeed keeping up with the times, and you're now sharing your tracks digitally. That's great news.
Thank you very much, and thanks for having me, and thanks to the Mornin Barbados team and your audience for listening to me this morning. Really appreciate it.
All right, excellent stuff. Craig Jones, national spokesman for Barbados, for Jehovah's Witnesses. We're going to take a break and come on back here on Mornin Barbados Still a little dark outside because we had some early morning drizzles. We weren't quite downpour or shower in my neck of the woods. I don't know what's happening where you are. But coming up next, we're going to be talking with some Chevening scholars. They're going to tell us about how you can get in with your application and benefit from that program. That's all next.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Every day at 7 p.m., we bring you a comprehensive news package because keeping you informed is our #1 priority. Whether it's local, regional, or international stories, our commitment is to you and keeping you reliably informed. Join us every day at 7 p.m. for CBC Newsnight.
Wake up, wake up, wake up.
There are some things that make mornings even better. And one of those things is Morning Barbados. You'll step into your day informed, inspired, and entertained. Tune in to CBC TV 8 Monday to Friday from 6:30 to 8 a.m. for Morning Barbados. Your morning must-have.
The facts say Morning Barbados reaches an audience of over 50,000 and Newsnight reaches over 56,000. It's simple. When you advertise, you're getting your message to over 50,000 of your potential customers. Make the call to CBC Sales Department today and watch your business grow. Contact us at 467-5559 or email marketing@cbc.bb.
Morning Barbados is on the move, and we're coming to you every weekday morning from right here at the Standard Showroom in Wildey. Now, together, we're giving you an opportunity to win. All you have to do is submit a photo of that room that you want to see changed in a fantastic way. And the interior design curator here at Standard and all of their experts are going to get together and select the room that needs the most work. It just might be yours. All you have to do is submit your photo to info@standard.bb, and you could be here with us saying, "Morning Barbados, look at my beautiful space."
Every day at 7 p.m., we bring you a comprehensive news package because keeping you informed is our #1 priority. Whether it's local, regional, or international stories, our commitment is to you and keeping you reliably informed. Join us every day at 7 p.m. for CBC Newsnight.
Wake up, wake up, wake up.
There are some things that make mornings even better. And one of those things is Morning Barbados. You'll step into your day informed, inspired, and entertained. Tune in to CBC TV 8 Monday to Friday from 6:30 to 8 a.m. for Morning Barbados. Your morning must-have.
The facts say Morning Barbados reaches an audience of over 50,000 and Newsnight reaches over 56,000. It's simple. When you advertise, you're getting your message to over 50,000 of your potential customers. Make the call to CBC Sales Department today and watch your business grow. Contact us at 467-5559 or email marketing@cbc.bb.
Morning Barbados is on the move, and we're coming to you every weekday morning from right here at the Standard Showroom in Wildey. Now, together, we're giving you an opportunity to win. All you have to do is submit a photo of that room that you want to see changed in a fantastic way. And the interior design curator here at Standard and all of their experts are going to get together and select the room that needs the most work. It just might be yours. All you have to do is submit your photo to info@standard.bb, and you could be here with us saying, "Morning Barbados, look at my beautiful space."
Morning to you. Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Welcome back. The time has moved on to just about 27 minutes after 6 o'clock. Good to have you with us, as I told you. So Barbadians have benefited from the Chevening program from inception back in 1983 or so, and it's time for other opportunities to be made available to you. We now have with us a few old scholars who make up the Barbados Chevening alumni. They make up the Barbados chapter, and they're here this morning to talk to us a little bit more about the scholarship program. Joining us is Joel Ford, who is a Chevening scholar. Also here is Andre Griffith, who's past president of the Chevening alumni, and we have the current president with us as well, joining us around the table. Good morning and welcome.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
All right, welcome back.
It feels like I've never left.
Had to be said, of course. So I'm going to start with you, Madam President. Tell us a little bit about Chevening and all that we've been able to do with 150 plus scholarship recipients since 1983 of Barbadian descent.
Okay, so the Chevening is the UK government scholarship program and is funded by the Foreign Commonwealth Development Office, FCDO, and basically it provides, as I say, a fully funded scholarship for persons not only in Barbados, across the region and international as well, over 150 countries, to pursue a fully funded UK education. Chevening sponsors tuition. It sponsors, it gives you experience within the UK where they set up programs for you to see the UK. And really they're looking for individuals and young persons, well, all ages actually, because that's not criteria, to pursue that education and have that UK experience.
All right, excellent. That's quite a mouthful, but we've been hearing about it for a long time. So what sets the program apart from every other program that we hear about out there in terms of scholarships?
Well, really what sets it is that Chevening looks at the more like the professional, kind of preparing the professional person from the Caribbean to the UK. And you know, the UK is like a ethos of international access to international markets, careers, etc. What is different about Chevening, in my opinion, is the opportunity to study in the UK. There are other scholarships that not much like the Commonwealth, yes, but it's the camaraderie of the alumni. The alumni, when you come back to Barbados, is very strong here. We have 150 plus alumni here, and we really have lots of fun. We contribute to even charitable events here. We involve in beach cleanup. We involve in raising awareness on different aspects, and the cadre of people who have come through the alumni really give back to society at large. You know, we have notable persons like DLP president, he was a Chevening. We had a former director of public prosecutions, Mr. Leacock. He was in Chevening, and other various persons.
Joe Ford.
You know, and they give back. They're not spending their time in the UK. You're not, so you know, you can't stay in the UK at least for 2 years after you complete your achievement. So they give back to society and enriching the society. You know, we have people who are lawyers, doctors, all walks of life professionals who are really contributing to the society that a lot of people don't even know that. But we keep the alumni very strong among each other.
Truly excellent. Joel, tell us about your experience, your journey with Chevening.
I found Chevening to be very supportive. I know people who've gotten scholarships, they've gone away, and once you've gotten the money, that's it. But I found Chevening to be very, very supportive. I did my master's in journalism studies in Wales, and I needed a root canal, and once you write to the support system, she helped me source a dentist, get the work done. I needed to come back home and do the work for my thesis. There are opportunities, and there's built into the scholarship funding for you to fly back home or wherever you need to go to do your thesis. So I find the whole thing to be very supportive. They always reach out, make sure you're okay, that you're doing well. You have to really make sure that you keep your grades up, though. It's not one of those things where you can just hang out. You really need to keep your grades up. And they're looking for people who have potential to be future leaders, people who show that give back spirit, where you're not just doing the degree and going off to make your way in the world somewhere else. You have to come back and give to your country. I found it to be extremely supportive. The alumni is always here. If you have any questions, you need any support, if let's say you're going off to study some part of the world that you've never been, trust me, there's a chieftain scholar who's been.
All right,
so you can always reach out to them too and get some information.
Well, good stuff, and it says a great deal that there's such a strong alumni association here in Barbados. I know you have a number of events coming up to kind of bring everybody together.
Yes, so we're promoting the scholarship, Chieftain. We're, seeking persons to join, to become future leaders, to get back to Barbados. So we have a number of events coming up this week on Wednesday, aka today. Today, this afternoon, we have an event at the University of West Indies Capefield campus. Is in the Solution Center, and that's at 12 p.m. And really, we're encouraging UWI students to sign up for the scholarship when applications open, and that's in August. So we'll be having campaigns for the next few months, but starting today. And again, we'll be speaking mainly about the scholarship, the application process, the criteria, what you need to have, basically what to expect, because sometimes it can be a culture shock going into a foreign country and pursuing education. So basically what to expect, and then on Saturday, we're going to repeat that again. For those persons who were not able, or UWI students, to come today, we're going to have that on Saturday at Sky Mall in Seminar Room 1 upstairs, where we have a big showcase. And we're really inviting everyone to come out if you do have interest in pursuing the scholarship and becoming a future leader.
All right, so we have some questions, obviously. What's the application process like? I've been told, there are quite a few twists and turns, so it's absolutely no walk in the park, but based on what you're saying, it's absolutely worth it.
Yes. So the application process opens around August, and the deadline is around November. Yes, it's very competitive. I mean, I remember the time when I applied, there were over 100 applications in the Caribbean alone. I was like one of the last persons. 4 people got scholarships from Barbados over the last. So it's very competitive. Right now, you have to show where you want to go to UK, where you want to study this subject. You're going to have to speak about networking and leadership. And those are the key things that they want to know from you. And what are you going to do, in your contribution. And the applications are very competitive. I know all academics who are trying to apply for it, because it is all about postgraduate study. It's not your first degree, but it's for those who have want to pursue postgraduate studies and have at least 2 years experience. So you can't finish your degree and just apply for this achievement. You have to have work experience now. In my day, it was just applying to do postgraduate. There was no work experience. But now you have to have at least 2 years work experience, and then you can apply for the scholarship. And so many universities in the UK, of all walks of life, and it doesn't matter what you want to study. I study information technology. People study law. People study, doctors study advanced sciences. There's journalism. There's so many aspects of studies in the UK. So it's something that if you're interested, you should really look to pursue and get that support.
So it's good to hear that really are no limits.
There are no limits to what you want to study. The thing is, it really is quite a prestigious scholarship. I didn't even realize that until I was just having a chat with a girlfriend, and I was telling her that I had done, and she went, "And that's not on your CV." So it's really quite to have been awarded achievement scholarship is really quite prestigious. So it really is something that you should make sure that you line up all your ducks when you come to do the application. Make sure that you have not just that you've shown that you're interested, not just in the subject, and that your grades are quite high, but also that you've done some work in the communities. Those things help you stand out from all the other 100 people in the Caribbean who are also applying for the same scholarship. So make sure that you show those things.
Good stuff. That segues nicely into those people who might be looking on and thinking, if I come out to the event today at UE or on Saturday at Sky Mall, you know, what might I need to bring along with me, or what information might I need to share to be a part of it?
You don't necessarily have to bring any information, really bring yourself, but it's really a session where you're taking that information and you check that criteria within yourself. Do I have the adequate work experience? Am I a leader? Do I want to inspire? Do I have in mind what I want to study or where I want to go? So once you come, you listen to the information, you can check off that criteria within yourself, and then we can speak. Again, as Joel and Andre said, the alumni, we're strong and we're always willing to listen, to open, to give advice. We'll also be giving some interview tips, etc. So really it's to come out and, you know, take it all in, and hopefully we see you in the alumni in a couple of years.
All right, so to see the past president and the current president here with another member of the alumni truly means that they are very, very active. And this level of support, even after you finished your studies, means a great deal to you being able to not only network, but certainly build on what you've learned if you are successful at applying for the scholarship program. Just tell us before we go where people can go online if they can't make it out today or on Saturday for these information presentations.
So currently we don't have a social media page as in the alumni, but the British High Commission has UK in the Caribbean page. Is both on Instagram and Facebook, where you can get information, or you can visit the Chieftain's website at www.chieftain.org. That has all the information.
All right, good stuff. Thank you all for coming in and sharing with us.
No problem.
Joel is going to stay. But it's wonderful to have you with us sharing. So here's another opportunity. If you've been thinking, I need to make that change, I need something different, something new, I need a boost in my area, I'd love to study overseas, check Chevening out. This might. All right, we'll take another break now. And coming up, we're taking a deep dive look at ADHD. Stay with us.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you. Wake up, wake up, wake up.
There are some things that make mornings even better. And one of those things is Morning Barbados. You'll step into your day informed, inspired, and entertained. Tune in to CBC TV 8 Monday to Friday from 6:30 to 8 a.m. for Morning Barbados. Your morning must-have.
Morning to you.
The facts say Morning Barbados reaches an audience of over 50,000 and Newsnight reaches over 56,000. It's simple. When you advertise, you're getting your message to over 50,000 of your potential customers. Make the call to CBC Sales Department today and watch your business grow. Contact us at 467-5559 or email marketing@cbc.bb.
Morning Barbados is on the move, and we're coming to you every weekday morning from right here at the Standard Showroom in Wildey. Now, together, we're giving you an opportunity to win. All you have to do is submit a photo of that room that you want to see changed in a fantastic way. And the interior design curator here at Standard and all of their experts are going to get together and select the room that needs the most work. It just might be yours. All you have to do is submit your photo to info@standard.bb, and you could be here with us saying, "Morning Barbados, look at my beautiful space."
Morning to you.
Every day at 7 p.m., we bring you a comprehensive news package because keeping you informed is our #1 priority. Whether it's local, regional, or international stories, our commitment is to you and keeping you reliably informed. Join us every day at 7 p.m. for CBC Newsnight.
Wake up, wake up, wake up.
There are some things that make mornings even better. And one of those things is Morning Barbados. You'll step into your day informed, inspired, and entertained. Tune in to CBC TV 8 Monday to Friday from 6:30 to 8 a.m. for Morning Barbados, your morning must-have.
The facts say Morning Barbados reaches an audience of over 50,000 and Newsnight reaches over 56,000. It's simple. When you advertise, you're getting your message to over 50,000 of your potential customers. Make the call to CBC Sales Department today and watch your business grow. Contact us at 467-5559 or email marketing@cbc.bb.
Morning Barbados is
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
welcome back. Bright sunshine outside. I have to say a special good morning to those of you from the Sanitation Services Authority. I can't help but to hear a garbage truck outside. So just have to say good morning. You have your work to do as well. And you guys are usually out very, very early, braving the sun and rain and all that wonderful stuff to make sure that we keep our beautiful island clean. So shout out to you on this beautiful Wednesday. Now, we told you we're going to take a deep dive into ADHD. For as much as we can, we're going to do that. We're telling you all about a parent talk seminar that's coming up on that topic. But we wanted to start the conversation. So we've invited Al Lane, who's a family therapist, and Cheryl Outram, who's an educator, to join us this morning. Good to have both of you here.
Good to be here. Good to be here.
All right, well, I'm going to start with you, Cheryl. Talk to me about your experience over the years as an educator and how ADHD is impacting our students, to your mind.
Okay. One of the things that I would start by saying is that many of the parents and students themselves do not know that they're affected by ADHD. What parents would find usually is that, or even the educators, they will label the children as trouble children. You know, these are the children who don't sit still. These are the children who don't pay attention. These are the children who get into trouble, get into spats with other children and so on. So they don't know that the underlying cause or the chronic problem is ADHD. So because there isn't enough awareness about that, very often persons are misdiagnosed, mistreated, because you have children who are then disciplined, who are treated very unkindly within the home and within the system because nobody knows that this is what it is. So the first thing that I found over the years was that there was a desperate need for children to be assessed. They're obviously in our system where we have mixed abilities and so on. You have children who are in the system, who learn differently, who are also impacted by ADHD, and they are expected to function the same way as the ordinary child. One of the other impacts is the fact that many in our society don't accept that it is a chronic condition. Persons don't accept that. So they think that there's nothing wrong with the child. They think that, you know, it will just go away. Just ignore it. The child is just behaving badly.
Use Bajan parlance that the child is hard ears.
Hard ears, correct.
That's what we've heard for years. As a matter of fact, I was having a conversation with a young man just last night, and he referred to himself as such. Al, as a family therapist, what has been your experience with parents in dealing with young people who might not yet have been diagnosed with ADHD, for example?
Well, I'm really in the area of treatment, so many of the kids that I see are either referred, similarly to Cheryl was discussing, where there's challenge, and there are challenges in the school, there's challenges that's beginning to create problems in their lives at home or what have you, and I see them. Parents are usually very keen to find out what is going on. One of the things that I've always been very concerned about with parents is that parents very often just want to know what's wrong. And so as a treatment provider, my question always is, what do we do once we have given the label? So I think that has been part of the challenge. Parents discovering what the challenge is, and then finding out how to fix it.
Let's talk about that discovery. What are some of the signs we're looking for? Because, like I said, for years we've been talking about children being hard ears, and usually based on what's customary in Barbados, if you see a child that is a little too busy running around, because, you know, the tradition has been children should listen, they should sit, they should be seen and not heard. People have moved away from that somewhat, but we still expect to tell children, sit down here, and you have to clench your teeth. Sit down here and don't move. So once you have a child who cannot necessarily sit still, that label is already on them. What are we looking for? Because I would imagine it can't only be the fact that children want to move around, because that's a natural thing for little ones. So what are some of the signs we're looking for?
Well, that's a very interesting question, because it's not every child that has attention deficit who is hyperactive. And sometimes the hyperactivity is not external, it's internal. So in other words, the child has racing thoughts, he has difficulty keeping quiet in his head. And so the child, even though the child, particularly with girls, may be sitting and appear to be quiet, there's a lot of internal distraction that's going on. There are three specific subtypes. There is the inattentive subtype, which is often seen in females. Classic example is a child sitting in the classroom, a girl sitting in class. She appears to be attending, but you're beginning to see challenges with the outcome of her academics. Then there's the hyperactive subtype, which is the child, as you described, who always wants to be moving. It's hyperactive impulsive, so there's impulsive speech, impulsive action. And then there's a combined subtype where the child has both the inattentive subtype and the hyperactive impulsive subtype. When we see children in the office, one of the things we're looking for is to see how these things are manifesting in the child's behavior, is moving around and so on.
Okay, when you say impulsive speech, in real terms, are we talking about children who might be deemed rude in their responses to an adult, a teacher, giving them instruction or something of that nature?
It's usually a child that tends to interrupt adults. That's one of the things that we're looking for. There is a dysregulation in the child's ability to read social cues, to know when it's appropriate to speak or when it's appropriate to move around. So these are some of the things that we're looking for in a child that's impulsive.
All right. What are some of the experiences that you have had? I know you do homeschooling as well. So observing students or observing children in a home or smaller classroom space type of environment, I would imagine is different from the large classroom settings that we're seeing at most public schools across Barbados. So what has been your experience in dealing with students, dealing with ADHD?
Okay. Well, some of the experiences have been where parents would call, reaching out at first for lessons because the child is struggling in their academics. But when the children come to me, the first thing I do is an assessment to see really how that child responds to the information, how they respond to the environment and so on. And one of the first things I notice about many of the children who parents reach out to me about is the fact that they do have attention issues. They do have, the hyperactive, issues where they either can't sit still. So this might manifest, for example, if I'm having an online session, there are children who will be learning online, and you just notice that child is singing, that child is, beating a rhythm, or if the child is face-to-face, the child is doodling all the time, the child is constantly shaking the foot, the child has to have music on, they're playing music while they're working. There are different things that would manifest.
Well, that sounds like me.
Yes, and ADHD in adults as well. The person who is a multitasker, the person can be doing something on a cell phone, watching something on the television screen, listening to music on the iPad, and they're paying, in their head, they're paying attention to all.
Yeah, I get very bored very quickly.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure. You know, and even this, for me, it feels like this is a new term. You know, I don't feel like I've grown up hearing people talk about ADHD. So, you know, you're into treatment, you're into working through the challenges, diagnosing the challenges. How then do you move toward treatment? Is it, I would imagine, not a blanket thing. I would imagine it has to be an individual thing.
It is. One of the things that's also important to note is not every child who is diagnosed with attention deficit has an impairment, or rather has an impairment to the extent that a child needs to have formal treatment. When we talk about impairments, we're really talking about deficiencies in the academics. There are challenges in school where perhaps the child is misreading social cues, getting into trouble, maybe getting into fights and so on. But there's no two children or two individuals that look the same with ADHD. You have people who function very well with ADHD. Because of the ADHD, they function extremely well. And then you have others who function very poorly because of ADHD. One of the major concerns that I have as a therapist is self-medication. So I see a lot of children and a lot of individuals who self-medicate with, for example, cannabis, because cannabis is very useful in terms of resolving some of the challenges with ADHD, but then cannabis has some very negative effects. So you have a person who's self-medicating with cannabis for ADHD and then ends up getting cannabis-induced psychosis, which is devastating. So there's no two individuals who are the same with ADHD, and so the treatment varies depending upon what presents.
Oh, it feels like you keep moving the goalposts, but I would imagine that's why it's a very unique, a very individual thing. Usually if you have students whom you see with certain challenges, what's your next step as an educator? Because I've found in recent times, and it really pains me to say this, I had a conversation with a teacher just yesterday, and I told him that I found in recent times, I mean it's been happening for a long time, but I found in recent times there are far more educators who don't seem to follow through when it comes to you know, students with what's deemed bad behavior. And maybe that's not their role, who knows? But we're hearing of so many students now who the retort is, get out of my class. Before, it would be, you know, you would try to figure out what's happening, bring parents in maybe, but the first retort now seems to be, get out of my class, or some time away from school. And I mean exorbitant time. If you have a student that has been rude to you, as you call it, how does it equate to take 2 weeks away from school? How does that help the situation? Because when they come back, whatever challenges there were, they're still present. So as an educator, what approach do you take once you recognize, hey, this student might have a challenge, and I'm going to add a question to that. Do you think that there are systems in place for teachers to have, you know, somewhere to go? Is there a procedure to your mind or to your knowledge to be able to refer students to such programs and not just discipline them in the traditional ways?
Okay. My first approach is, one, when dealing with education in the whole, when a parent reaches out to me, the first thing is not to say, yes, you know, I'm going to accept this student and we begin working on academics. The first approach is to have a conversation with the parent, explaining the process, explaining that the assessment is the first place to start, to assess the child, to know where the child is at. Not just looking at the academics, but looking at the holistic picture for that child. And explaining to the parents that the child's success in education has to be a holistic approach. Many of the challenges that children face, parents are often oblivious to the challenges. They are not sometimes open to hearing what is happening with the child. They just want the results. And sometimes they don't have the patience, or they don't want to make that time to sit and listen and understand what the child is faced with. And what I've found is that the parents themselves sometimes are also challenged in the same way. So my first approach is to be very holistic, to talk with that parent, listen very carefully about all the socialization factors that will, impact the child's learning and so on. So I deal with both the parent and child. And as I assess that child, the assessment may look like the child doing, let's say, an academic paper. However, as I'm assessing, I'm looking at attention span. I'm looking at, is that child a tactile learner? Is it auditory? And so on. Is it visual? Or is it a combination of things? Now, once I do that initial assessment, then I give feedback to the parents. And I have to constantly hold the hand of the parents so that they understand that the child cannot, be successful alone. The child needs the parent to understand exactly what is happening to them, and the parent has to continually support the process. You had asked another question in addition to the approach. I think your follow-up question was,
do you think that there are procedures in place,
right,
to be able to take care of that?
Well, the ADHD Parent Talk group is one of the processes, one of the solutions that we saw as necessary to assist parents. In the public school setting, we know that there are many children in the classroom, and sometimes that setup does not give way to the personalized and the individualized help that a child needs and support, and even for the teacher. Because, for instance, you have teachers who are given quote unquote all the slow children. There are teachers in the system who are given all the children who don't sit still and keep quiet. But these teachers are expected to work with this child and follow the standard teaching method, teaching style, examination process, and so on, when ideally these children who don't sit still and keep quiet need to be taught maybe outside on the pasture. They need to be in a more stimulated environment, an environment that's more flexible, and so on. So as far as that is concerned, we are trying to create a resource center where both parents and teachers and the children can come and access, first of all, information, so that there's greater awareness. And from that awareness and the information that they get, then we can have persons coming together like ourselves, because even within the parent body, there are many persons who are experts in their own right on ADHD, dyslexia, and different conditions. Yeah. But sometimes they just need an organization that would bring them together, that would create or facilitate the process, that persons know this is where it can go, or a teacher will know, well, I can reach out to this person to get help for this child, and so on. So I think that more needs to be done so that you can create that holistic approach within the school system and even outside the school system, because I believe that we do have the persons here that can follow up
and make a change in these young children's lives. Yes. You've opened a can of worms, certainly in my head, this morning, in terms of dealing with ADHD and what it looks like to the average person. It certainly didn't look to me like what was described by you to me this morning, Al and Cheryl. But there's a parent talk seminar that's coming up that you want to share about as well. And that is the parent talk seminar will be launching on the 17th.
Yes.
So, which of you can talk to us a little more about that?
Yes. So the parent talk seminar will be held on March 17th, which is this Sunday coming up at 4 p.m. And it's going to be held at the Life and Salvation Ministries in the Jubilee House building on Bank Hall. We've been, partnering, working with Pastor Shirley and Pastor Grantley Griffith. They are the persons who extended, the courtesy to us to use that facility. We have within the leadership of that organization someone who is a success story as far as dyslexia is concerned. Pastor Shirley herself is an excellent success story of somebody who had a challenge and didn't know, and was discovered by somebody who came from overseas and happened to be at her school. So I thought it was very interesting that she would be the one who would have facilitated us. So we're going to have the event there on Sunday evening at 4 o'clock. And what we're looking for is for parents and anybody who's touched by or interested in learning more about ADHD to come out and, we're launching the Parent Talk group. And we're also doing a workshop to give people that initial information about ADHD. It's going to be at 4 p.m.
At 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Final word from you, Al, as a family therapist. What word would you leave with any parent or adult who's looking on and saying, maybe you're describing me?
I would say that I have attention deficit. I've got 2 children with attention deficit. I've got a first degree and an advanced degree. I have another daughter with a first degree and an advanced degree. I have another daughter. It just goes on. Attention deficit is not the end of the line for many individuals with ADHD. It is the beginning, the opportunity to explore horizons that are just fathomless.
All right, and I think it's so timely that we would have this discussion during the month of March, which is the month of the disabled. And even though we've told you that ADHD can take on different faces, is one of those conditions that I think usually is lumped with, conditions that we believe can be challenging in terms of education and moving forward. So it's good that we look at it, things that you can't necessarily look on and see. So look into it a little bit more. The ADHD Parent Talk Seminar launching the 17th, and it's going to be starting at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So get on out and be a part of it. Is there a website that we can go to or a number we can call to find out more information?
Okay, there is a Facebook page that persons can go to, ADHD Parent Talk on Facebook. And there's another professional who's involved in this process. Her name is Akila Bishop, who is a psychologist who is going to be doing the presentation on ADHD on Sunday evening. So you can go to the Facebook page, you will meet her there, you would meet Al, you'll see myself, and you would see lots of information there on that hub for ADHD. And there's also the Instagram at ADHD Parent Talk on Instagram. Those are the places where we can be contacted at this point in time. We will have a website as we launch on Sunday, and we get more information about the persons who actually attend and who are also resource persons. We want to include them in the entire website process, and as we evolve, we want to know that we have all persons who can add their hands to helping persons with ADHD. So we will have a website coming up, but for now you can reach us on Facebook, ADHD Parent Talk, and on Instagram at ADHD Parent Talk.
She's a true teacher. She repeats herself 3 times. But that's what teachers do. So if you didn't hear it the first time, you must have gotten it. Thank you so much, Cheryl Outram, who's an educator, Al Lane, family therapist. I'd love to continue this conversation, but of course, the opportunity is there for you to be a part of this ADHD Parent Talk on the 17th of March. Check them out online at ADHD Parent Talk on Instagram and Facebook to find out more. It's time for another break, but coming up, we're talking HR. We have an attorney at law joining the president of HERMAB here on the set, and we're going to be delving a little deeper into some changes to legislation that maybe we need to look a little more closely at. That's next.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you. Wake up, wake up, wake up.
There are some things that make mornings even better. And one of those things is Morning Barbados. You'll step into your day informed, inspired, and entertained. Tune in to CBC TV 8 Monday to Friday from 6:30 to 8 a.m. for Morning Barbados, your morning must-have.
The facts say Morning Barbados reaches an audience of over 50,000 and Newsnight reaches over 56,000. It's simple. When you advertise, you're getting your message to over 50,000 of your potential customers. Make the call to CBC Sales Department today and watch your business grow. Contact us at 467-5559 or email marketing@cbc.bb.
Morning Barbados is on the move, and we're coming to you every weekday morning from right here at the Standard Showroom in Wildey. Now, together, we're giving you an opportunity to win. All you have to do is submit a photo of that room that you want to see changed in a fantastic way. And the interior design curator here at Standard and all of their experts are going to get together and select the room that needs the most work. It just might be yours. All you have to do is submit your photo to info@standard.bb, and you could be here with us saying, "Morning Barbados, look at my beautiful space."
Every day at 7 p.m., we bring you a comprehensive news package because keeping you informed is our #1 priority. Whether it's local, regional, or international stories, our commitment is to you and keeping you reliably informed. Join us every day at 7 p.m. for CBC Newsnight.
Wake up, wake up, wake up.
There are some things that make mornings even better. And one of those things is Morning Barbados. You'll step into your day informed, inspired, and entertained. Tune in to CBC TV 8 Monday to Friday from 6:30 to 8 a.m. for Morning Barbados, your morning must-have.
The facts say Morning Barbados reaches an audience of over 50,000 and Newsnight reaches over 56,000. It's simple. When you advertise, you're getting your message to over 50,000 of your potential customers. Make the call to CBC Sales Department today and watch your business grow. Contact us at 467-5559 or email marketing@cbc.bb.
Morning Barbados is on the move, and we're coming to you every weekday morning from right here at the Standard Showroom in Wildey. Now, together, we're giving you an opportunity to win. All you have to do is submit a photo of that room that you want to see changed in a fantastic way. And the interior design curator here at Standard and all of their experts are going to get together and select the room that needs the most work. It just might be yours. All you have to do is submit your photo to info@standard.bb, and you could be here with us saying, "Morning Barbados, look at my beautiful space."
Morning to you. Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
So welcome back to Morning Barbados. The sun is high in the sky. As you can see, the sunshine is coming through beautifully at the showroom here at Standard. We want to remind you that there's actually an opportunity for you to get in on some action here at Standard. We're now officially a member of the family. I'm not sure if we're going back to CBC at all, but a special good morning to the Standard family. All you have to do is send a photo of whatever room in your house that you think needs a makeover, and their internal curator here at Standard will work with you to make that happen. Yeah? As long as you win. So send your photo to info@standard.bb, and you could be in with a new room, entertaining on a budget, looking nice, whichever room it is, the kitchen, the living room, wherever. Make sure you get in there though, and snap a photo and email it. It's that simple. So every week we have an opportunity to sit down with the Human Resources Management Association of Barbados, particularly on Wednesdays. And today we want to take a look at the Labor Clauses Concessions Bill 2024. It's now been passed into law. However, we still need to look at it. Because something is law doesn't mean that it can't be tweaked or there might not be a few things that you want to look at or challenges that you want to discuss. So Nicholas Roberts is president of the Human Resources Management Association of Barbados, and the president joins us now, along with Maya Kelman, who's an attorney at law. Welcome. Good to have you with us, and welcome to Morning Barbados.
Thank you so
Nicholas, he needs no introduction. He's practically a co-host at this point.
People actually make laughing sport about that. so yeah.
There's nothing to laugh about with you being one of my co-hosts. I absolutely love it. You know, I've always, always fret you even online, but it's good to have you in person. So I'm going to start with you, Nicholas. What exactly is this labor clauses concessions bill that has now been passed, and what about it says that we need to pay close attention as employers, as employees?
Before I talk about the bill, which is now an act, I want to draw your attention to what a concession is. A concession usually is something, a benefit, usually passed by the government to give, let's use a hotelier as an example, a reason to come into a company as foreign direct investment. So I'm not going to call any hotels by name, but if you pay any attention to what has been going on within Barbados for the last 2 years, we usually use it as a way to bring international brands here, as a way to create job opportunities. And through these concessions given by the government, it usually says, you know what, I am giving you something in terms for providing labor or labor opportunities for my workforce within the country. So it is against that backdrop. If you look at that, then you need to think about if it is that the government is giving you as a company a concession, and they have to pull it away based on if you're not adhering to the standards highlighted within the Act, then it means that you are not in compliance. So at the crux of the matter, that is what the Act is speaking about in terms of concessions being withdrawn or taken away, obviously following due course or due process, if it is seen that an organization is not following what has been highlighted within the Act based on not taking care of its employees.
All right, now the original question, because like me, you're a tangential speaker. So that is the first part of it. What are concessions? Now to why we should be paying attention as employees, as employers, to the changes through this now Act.
I think it impacts us all. I know it is specifically now impacting the hotel sector, but it will have an impact on all of the sectors or all of the organizations within Barbados, because once again, if it is I as an organization, I'm being given concessions by the government, and these concessions are being pulled away, why are they being pulled away? And then I as an employee, because obviously people look at it with what is in it for me? If I as an employee, if I'm not being treated well by my employer, then what do I need to do, or what needs to be triggered by the government, in this instance the Minister of Labour, who has been highlighted within the Act, who has powers to execute those powers under the Act if it is deemed that organization is not meeting its needs or meeting the needs of the organization or the best interest of the employees. So I think it looks to see how it is employees are being treated within the workplace, and if they're not being treated fairly, then what will be done in terms of the repercussions being put in place to impact those organizations if employees are not being seen as being treated fairly.
From where I sit, this can all be very relative. In very real terms, you talk with people, and sometimes you're surprised to hear there are two completely different sides to a story. And a term that people have been using more these days is, this is your truth. So there are no absolutes anymore. It's somebody telling their truth. So all of a sudden there aren't lies, and the truth is telling your truth. What does an act like this coming on stream mean for labor generally in Barbados, but for the hotel sector specifically?
Okay, just moving on from what Nicholas would have said, I want to preface what my submission is going to be, my response to your question, is that given the COVID-19 pandemic, right, we could all appreciate and agree that there were certain shortcomings. There were persons that were, particularly in the hospitality sector, they were displaced, for lack of better words, because obviously the demand wasn't there. And so this particular enactment allows to address those particular shortcomings. I always say, as a student of sociology, that there's society before law. And so it's with these particular socio needs that are shifting in society that this particular enactment is trying to address. What does it have in terms for implications for the workforce generally? It's significant, but more specifically to the hospitality sector, it brings into sharp focus because it looks at the minimum standard that is required by hoteliers to ensure that, you know, employee rates are being guaranteed and enforced. So if we're looking at it from a nuanced point of view, particularly in hospitality sector, it's like ensuring that there's equitable distribution of service charges. You're fairly compensated compared to the hospitality market and standard. You know, issues on severance, any labor-related issues are placed into sharp focus, and employers have to comply with this.
That's some very interesting stuff, because we know the concessions when it comes to hotels in Barbados, they go from big to little. And as you said, Mr. President, we don't have to be specific about or label or name hotels, but this could have a real impact, not only for the companies, but for the employees as well. So to your mind, you know, there's been some public contention, specifically from hoteliers on the act. So based on what they've said, would you say that there might be changes that they are asking for, or are they all the way clear on how things will work?
So I attended a session a few weeks ago in my capacity as president of HERMAB, and there were stakeholders there from the private sector, specifically the hoteliers, but there were various industries there. And answering your question in short, no, they're concerned in terms of the way that the act went about being pushed through Parliament, also in terms of what is the process in terms of if I as an employer am not meeting what has been outlined within the act, what triggers me being reprimanded under the act. So I think that the act, based on the way it has been implemented in terms of the consultation and conciliation that has occurred between various stakeholders, I think that there have been concerns from that point of view in terms of the conversations that have been had. I know obviously it has been passed within Parliament, and it is no law. I think those things are of concern to those stakeholders in terms of the process that went about in terms of making it into law, and in terms of it now being a law, in terms of there being a lack of clarity in terms of how I know as an employer, if I am not treating my employees what is deemed as unfairly, then what will trigger the process in terms of me being reprimanded under this new act and this new law.
So what advice then would you give stakeholders on this new act, given all that we know?
I remember the last time I was here with you, Tisha, has spoken about being clear and consistent in communication. And I think that particular principle and approach needs to be there. There needs to be this consistency in communication as it relates to the social dialogue with all the stakeholders involved. And not just government, but government and private sector and all the affiliations and the associations. And together, obviously, with the trade unions. You know, you wouldn't have a perfect consensus. There's nothing perfect in this world. But having that continuous dialogue with the stakeholders is very critical.
I think that's important. What say you?
No, it's correct, because obviously, so we always talk about the tripartite approach in terms of labor, private sector, and the trade unions. And Barbados is built on that in terms of trade unionism and in terms of how trade unions interact with the private sector, in terms of how they interact with the government. And I think at the heart of it, at the crux of it, the genesis is that we are all here to ensure that workers are treated fairly within the working environment. And labor laws have been put in place, whether it be the Employment Rights Act, the Employee Discrimination, Prevention of Discrimination Act, the Sexual Harassment Act. There are various acts and laws that are in place to protect the employee. As Maya so rightly mentioned, there needs to be a way that dialogue is had to ensure that, you know, that when these laws are put in place, that they're meeting the needs of all stakeholders. Once again, things are not going to be perfect, but it is how it is being done in terms of the process of implementation and then the process of execution. And I'm not trying to use execution in a way that it should be in a a way that makes people afraid, but in terms of how it is that if you as an employer are not meeting what is deemed just and fair towards your employees, how will you be reprimanded? And once again, what is the process that triggers that to ensure that there is due process for all incurred, once again on the employer end, once again on the employees end, and then how are the trade unions meeting their needs in terms of representing labor to make sure that all persons are being treated fairly and justly within the work environment.
Maya, has it been laid bare in the act, through the act, what needs to be done, what these parameters are, or is this a process that now will have to be worked through? The president made reference to, for example, the Sexual Harassment in the Workplace Act. But we know there's a tribunal that you can go through and things of that nature. Are these things yet to be worked through, or are there set parameters in place?
There are set parameters that have been explicitly placed because, of course, this is just addition to all the relevant pieces of legislation that speaks to all the other labor-related issues. And of course, there's a due process for both the employer and the employee, as you could appreciate. Yes.
All right. So as far as I know, you mentioned that you went to this meeting where stakeholders, particularly I would imagine hoteliers and people who will be directly impacted, talked about it, but have we had occasion to speak with employees to look at how they see it? Because if concessions are taken away from their employers, then it can have a domino effect in terms of how they're able to function, how they're able to operate, particularly if they're hoteliers who are getting concessions, as in absolutely no taxes on their services or their imports or whatever inputs they have to use every single day. So have we been dialoguing with the employees as well?
I know that there have been a lot of consultations with the trade unions, and of course the trade unions will speak to their members. I'm not sure if there's any explicit showing of that the employees have been consulted with, but I certainly know that the trade unions and the private sectors, the associations within them, that they're having this dialogue. We had the recent comments from the Barbados Employment Confederation, so there seems to be some level of dialogue that is coming, and it needs to be continuous and consistent.
All right, any suggestions in moving forward from you, Mr. President?
I think once again, harking back or heralding back to what Maya mentioned earlier, in terms of just labor relations in Barbados, I think once again, when it comes to the environment or the climate that we currently operate within, I think all stakeholders need to be cognizant and be mindful of all parties involved and have a listening ear. Everyone has a part to play in this part, like once I mentioned, whether it is the labor union, whether it is the private sector, whether it's the government. And I think once again, as Maya said, things will not be perfect, but I think all parties at the table need to listen to each other, have the best interests of employees at heart in terms of when we're coming up with these laws, when we're coming up with legislation, and once again, just having proper due process and conciliation to make sure that when we're having these conversations, that we take everyone's feedback into process and under consideration, so that when laws are put into place, that there's as much thought and as much care put under consideration when it comes to, at the end of the day, the employees that are the persons that these laws will impact.
Absolutely. And my contribution to this discussion is that I feel that we should move towards, once again, being more active citizens. So active citizenship, being aware of what's happening in a far greater way. I think we depend too much on social media and not necessarily even credible sites to share what tidbits of information they fancy to share for whatever spin they want to put on it. So it's important that as citizens, we not only talk a lot about what our rights are, but we must acknowledge what our responsibilities are. And our responsibilities mean that we should be fully aware of what's happening within our country and how these things will impact us, because things like this will impact all of us. Yes. We all know somebody who's working in the service industry. There's someone in every family, in every neighborhood who's working in the service industry. We're into service. So this has been a good conversation this morning on now the Act, the Concessions Act, and I myself have to go through it far more in depth. I've not examined it in the way that I should, So I'm going to start with my own advice. Yes? But wonderful to have you with us as always, Nicholas Roberts, President of the Human Resources Management Association of Barbados. Like I say, doing a fantastic job bringing attention to all that you do and sharing about the relevance of human resources at the center of everything we do, with employers and employees and people generally. And thank you, Maya, for coming back and sharing with us your expertise in this area.
Thank you so much, Tisha.
Absolutely. Time for another break. Stay with us here on Morning Barbados. It's bright sunshine, as you can see, but I'm loving it. Always good to feel a little sunshine on your face. Another break now, but when we come back, a whole lot more, so don't you move.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
The facts say Morning Barbados reaches an audience of over 50,000 and Newsnight reaches over 56,000. It's simple. When you advertise, you're getting your message to over 50,000 of your potential customers. Make the call to CBC Sales Department today and watch your business grow. Contact us at 467-5559 or email marketing@cbc.bb.
Morning Barbados is on the move, and we're coming to you every weekday morning from right here at the Standard Showroom in Wildey. Now, together, we're giving you an opportunity to win. All you have to do is submit a photo of that room that you want to see changed in a fantastic way. And the interior design curator here at Standard and all of their experts are going to get together and select the room that needs the most work. It just might be yours. All you have to do is submit your photo to info@standard.bb, and you could be here with us saying, "Morning Barbados, look at my beautiful space."
Morning to you.
Every day at 7 p.m., we bring you a comprehensive news package because keeping you informed is our #1 priority. Whether it's local, regional, or international stories, our commitment is to you and keeping you reliably informed. Join us every day at 7 p.m. for CBC Newsnight.
The facts say Morning Barbados reaches an audience of over 50,000 and Newsnight reaches over 56,000. It's simple. When you advertise, you're getting your message to over 50,000 of your potential customers. Make the call to CBC Sales Department today and watch your business grow. Contact us at 467-5559 or email marketing@cbc.bb.
Morning Barbados is on the move, and we're coming to you every weekday morning from right here at the Standard Showroom in Wildey. Now, together, we're giving you an opportunity to win. All you have to do is submit a photo of that room that you want to see changed in a fantastic way. And the interior design curator here at Standard and all of their experts are going to get together and select the room that needs the most work. It just might be yours. All you have to do is submit your photo to info@standard.bb, and you could be here with us saying, "Morning Barbados, look at my beautiful space."
Morning to you.
Every day at 7 p.m., we bring you a comprehensive news package because keeping you informed is our #1 priority. Whether it's local, regional, or international stories, our commitment is to you and keeping you reliably informed. Join us every day at 7 p.m. for CBC Newsnight.
The facts say Morning Barbados reaches an audience of over 50,000 and Newsnight reaches over 56,000. It's simple. When you advertise, you're getting your message to over 50,000 of your potential customers. Make the call to CBC Sales Department today and watch your business grow. Contact us at 467-5559 or email marketing@cbc.bb.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
We're in a new spot, but it's wonderful to have all of my old friends with me. So Leroy Straker is here and joining me here at the Standards Showroom. How do you do?
Great.
It's good to see you.
How do you do?
Are you still as active as you have been through the years, out and about? I know you love to do your runs, long walks and stuff like that.
All of that and more.
Yeah, good stuff. Now, I also know that you're retired.
Sure.
So you were what we would call now a pharmacist.
Yeah.
But back in the day, they used to call you a druggist.
Druggist or dispenser.
Yes, but you found other ways to, entertain yourself, to pass your time. So you've been involved in the arts for a long time, but you love writing poetry.
Yeah.
So what's the difference about poetry? What does poetry do for you?
Well, it brings some satisfaction to me. You have to be a good reader to be able to do pretty good poetry. So it brings satisfaction to me, and it also brings satisfaction to other people to whom I read it, And I got involved in it, the poetry side of it, basically around the COVID time, the pandemic time, when we had nothing much to do. You sit in the house, you do a lot of reading, and I used to read some on your program on radio.
When I was on 94.7 FM, we had a set time for you to come in and share your poetry with us as well.
Yeah. So I've been doing a lot of writing since then, and I write poems almost every day, almost every day, and it goes on, and I read them for people, and people get to like them. Some people don't really pay them much attention, but I still continue to write, because it gives me inner life, and somebody who's hearing it also gets a lift, an enlightenment from the poetry that I read as well.
Is there any specific stimuli, or, what's your process, Leroy?
Well, I have a lot of time on hand now because I'm retired, and I spend that time doing things that I like to do. I get up in the morning sometimes 4 times a week, and I go for a run. I do maybe a 3K or a 5K. Then sometimes I go to the beach, come back home. I probably do some cooking sometimes. I still cook. I still got to eat, do some exercises. So I keep myself as fit as possible, and all the time, aging gracefully.
All right. So we give you this entire big seat over here, and I see that you've brought a few things to help fill it up.
Yeah.
There's a box here. I'm very, very curious.
Curious what is the box?
In Bajan terms, I'm malicious.
Yeah.
So what's going on with all this?
Well, if I tell you what this box,
what have you brought?
This box is carrying a gift from a poem that I wrote just this year. Right? You see it here? Listeners can see. Now, I was on a ship called the MSC Seaside.
Okay, let's put it on the table.
Yeah. And the ship went from Barbados for 2 weeks through the Caribbean. And during these sea days, I took the advantage of sitting in the ship and writing some poetry. So I took one of my poems to guest services and had it addressed to the captain. And I wrote this poem to the captain. And when I came back in my room the next day, I saw this box marked MSC.
Seaside.
Seaside, on my room, on my bed. I said, what's that there? With a letter under it. I said, what's that there? When I opened it, I thought it was a bottle of wine or something, left it. When I opened it, it was this replica of the Seaside, MSC Seaside. And the captain praised me for the poem that I wrote to him about the sailing of the ship across the Caribbean Sea.
I know you love cruising, Leroy. So are you going to share some of that poem with us?
I'll do that.
All right. Well, go right ahead. Let me hear some of this.
The poem, I think, let me see, I got to look through here quickly and get that one. This is not the exact one I wrote to him, but this is about cruising still.
Along the lines.
Right.
Okay.
Cruising. Have you ever taken a trip, a 7-day sail on a cruise ship? One that goes from island to island, admiring the beauty of God's creation? My friend, don't hesitate to investigate. It's the best place for an escape. You just sign up with a travel agency or book it online completely. The choice is yours to make, but do one soon, for heaven's sake. You can't go wrong, believe you me, and they don't cost a lot of money. Imagine $800 for double occupancy, a perfect room for you and your hubby. Eating, sleeping, traveling daily, waking up every morning in a different country. If you're in the mood, geez, there's a lot of food. From breakfast to dinner time, but be conscious of your waistline. For entertainment, there's no lack of it. It's like a Broadway show on a cruise ship. casino, comedy, dancing, anything goes, disco music, videos, partying, Broadway shows. If you are bored, you just want to be, because there's so much to do and see. This is absolutely no joke. You can get almost anything on the boat. The staff are the most generous you'll meet, always welcoming and willing to greet. I've done a few cruises in my life with family, friends, and also with my wife.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
They need to put you in marketing, because you just said, all the positive things about being on the ship.
The cruise ship, yeah. It's lovely. It's really nice. So I also ask people to go and take a cruise on a ship. Now, this poem that I'm going to read for you, I wrote this just, last week was Women's International Women's Day. So I sat at home and I said I'm going to do something for the women. So I wrote this one, Tisha.
All right.
It's called I Want a Woman. Right? I want a woman as my leader, to guide me into the future. She must be up to the task, have a big ask, and willing to carry me through the 21st century. She must be strong from the ground, fighting pound for pound, on call, on the ball, so the country can stand tall. She must have wit and grit, willing and fit, and rule successfully to the year 2030. I want to let the whole world know that these small islands must grow. We need help from the World Bank, leaders as think tanks, money to pull we out. That's what I'm talking about. We had some great women so far, Eugenia and Kamala Besessar. Barbados now got Mia, a formidable leader who inspire all we to live as one family. She must be strong from the ground, fighting pound for pound, on call, on the ball, so the country can stand tall. She must have wit and grit, willing and fit, and must rule successfully to the year 2030. Look at the women we have today, highly involved in every sphere. From the top to the bottom, there's a leader as a woman. Men, it's time we admit and give women their remate.
That was beautiful too. I'm happy that you're good with your pronunciation. Because there was a word there that could be misconstrued if you didn't get your K in case. But I know that this is all within what they will call poetic license and giving you an opportunity to explore your feelings. So I can see that this is a true form of expression for you. These are such personal expressions of your everyday life, of your feelings. That must put you in a very, very happy space.
Yeah. And Tisha, I sit down and conceptualize topics and write on things that are a little bit different from the average poet, I think, So I did a little bit of swimming 2 years ago because the National Sports Council had a swimming program teaching elderly people to swim. So I wrote this poem during the swim program that was going on at the Bronx Beach, So I'll get this one for you. It's called That Beach Is Mine.
Okay, so was this when you learned to swim?
When I learned to swim, yeah.
2 years ago?
Yeah, 2 years ago.
So what were you doing before that? You couldn't swim?
Just barely get through.
Okay.
But I learned the rudiments.
So you were dog paddling before?
Dog paddling, it's all right. Okay. But I learned the real rudiments by going to the National Sports Council swim program at the Bronx Beach, You want to hear this one?
Absolutely.
It's called That Beach Is Mine.
To take us out of this interview, this poem called That Beach Is Mine by Leroy Stricker. Hit it.
You went to Bronx Beach recently and see the amount of elderly who show up 3 times weekly to learn to swim without a fee. There's no space in the car park, and that's no skylark. They come out to learn to swim every Monday and Wednesday morning from 9:30 a.m. till midday, bare confusion. All the old people doing swimming lessons. And again on Saturday evenings from 4 to 5 p.m. I used to hear the sea ain't got no back door, and that made us swim poor. But the National Sports Council implement a plan to suit every Bajan. I didn't know swimming was so much in demand, so I decided to take a stand because enough lifeguards were on hand. In any form of recovery, doctors recommend water therapy. So the best place to be is to take a dip in the sea. women with eye goggles and head caps, some with big bottoms and belly fat. But they're out there swimming like hell. That is as much as I can tell. For years, I couldn't lay afloat in the sea. Now to me, that easy. I never venture out with the turtles yet. No, trust me, out there easy to get. Believe you me, the lifeguard did an excellent job every day.
Good morning to you.
The facts say Morning Barbados reaches an audience of over 50,000 and Newsnight reaches over 56,000. It's simple. When you advertise, you're getting your message to over 50,000 of your potential customers. Make the call to CBC Sales Department today and watch your business grow. Contact us at 467-5559 or email marketing@cbc.bb.
Morning Barbados is on the move, and we're coming to you every weekday morning from right here at the Standard Showroom in Wildey. Now, together, we're giving you an opportunity to win. All you have to do is submit a photo of that room that you want to see changed in a fantastic way. And the interior design curator here at Standard and all of their experts are going to get together and select the room that needs the most work. It just might be yours. All you have to do is submit your photo to info@standard.bb, and you could be here with us saying, "Morning Barbados, look at my beautiful space."
Morning to you.
Every day at 7 p.m., we bring you a comprehensive news package because keeping you informed is our #1 priority. Whether it's local, regional, or international stories, our commitment is to you and keeping you reliably informed. Join us every day at 7 p.m. for CBC Newsnight.
The facts say Morning Barbados reaches an audience of over 50,000 and Newsnight reaches over 56,000. It's simple. When you advertise, you're getting your message to over 50,000 of your potential customers. Make the call to CBC Sales Department today and watch your business grow. Contact us at 467-5559 or email marketing@cbc.bb.
Morning Barbados is on the move, and we're coming to you every weekday morning from right here at the Standard Showroom in Wildey. Now, together, we're giving you an opportunity to win. All you have to do is submit a photo of that room that you want to see changed in a fantastic way. And the interior design curator here at Standard and all of their experts are going to get together and select the room that needs the most work. It just might be yours. All you have to do is submit your photo to info@standard.bb, and you could be here with us saying, "Morning Barbados, look at my beautiful space."
Morning to you. Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Hey, good to be catching up with some familiar faces as always. So we've been telling you all about an event called Poetry, and this morning we're happy to have the organizer back with us, LaShawna Griffith, of course, and she's brought along Justin Sunrock Taylor as well as Winston Ruitech Jordan. So good to have Winslow. You know that is a slip of the tongue. We all know each other for so long.
A long time.
Behind the scenes making too much jokes, and that's why when we get on air it's trouble. But good to see all of you. And besides, I'm not accustomed calling you anything but Ruby Tech.
Well, I am a good fella too, so you can use that here.
Yeah?
Yeah,
That
man.
was your pitch?
Yeah,
Straight into the camera out there. Yeah. After all, we're talking poetry, so this is your opportunity to spit some lines. How about that?
Definitely. And you will hear some lines, but we have to hear from the headliner first,
Absolutely. So how has the event been? I know that you had your debut. We had quite a few of the headliners who were going to be a part of it pass through Morning Barbados.
Well, our first show was sold out. We actually made history with selling out the stage bar. We never thought that so many people could hold in the stage bar. So we were so blessed and humbled. Dale the Poet was amazing. We got so many persons that were so excited to see him, and then he was stellar. His performance was really, really good. And then coming off of that, we decided that we wanted to host a show for World Poetry Day. I mean, we're poetry. We should do something for World Poetry Day. And I was lucky that these two gentlemen agreed to headline and be a guest performer on the star-studded cast.
All right, excellent. Now, Sunrock, we know you. You know, they have you labeled here as a spoken word artist, but I think it's impossible to label you when it comes to the extent of your talent and what you can do with words and wordplay, and how good you are at sharing it in an unconventional way. So talk to me about your journey, being a wordsmith of sorts, and your journey with poetry and being a spoken word artist and rapper and freestyle artist and all that fantastic
stand-up
stuff.
comedian, and it's interesting. It's interesting because it really interesting. The show mean a lot to me because of a lot of things. Like one, there would not be a Sound Rock if there was not a Ruby Tech, right? Used to be at school just making our mind life miserable, you know. I first meet Tech in town. We was rapping. The man come and just blow my mind as a rapper, and then we ended up realizing that we was at BCC at the same time, and we helped one another grow. So then it was Tech that looked at me first. I was like, "Yo, you should be an artist, you know, instead of just being a battler." And I was like, I guess. And then they met Lone be an artist, and it just took off. And then that's what it went. Then we ended up making Mike Check, and then Mike Check came, Hilton Over Mike, and then from Hilton Over Mike came, you know, Oh My Word. And from Oh My Word, you would see Lashana and Dio, the poet. So the family tree of what has happened with the work and what we get to do and the impact on culture is definitely something that has met this show special, because it's kind of like a full circle meeting. The only thing missing is the rest of the men from BCC, so it'll be Hal Linton and Larryx and, you know, Mahalia, and it'll be real cool to have this show and just be able to sit down and say, yeah, I get to run with Tech on the same stage and for the first time in like 27 years, so that's cool.
Wow, aging yourself, fella. But, you know, as we move over now to Ruby Tech, you're an artist in the truest sense. So you inherited some of your talents from your late father, very popular cartoonist and artist, Winston Jordan.
Yes,
so, you know, as we would say in Bajan parlance, you can draw.
Yes, ma'am.
But you are also really good at what you do, and you're true to your craft. You're true to what you love to do, which is rap, which is in and of itself a form of expression that we don't necessarily get to experience as much as we want to here in Barbados. So tell me about your journey and how it continues through poetry, the event.
All right, well, first I gotta refer back to Sound Rock. He was making my life a misery at BCC.
Before y'all did the people work, y'all were
yes,
rapping.
but I actually used to try to be doing the work. I used to be outside, like, through the door, like, come outside and rap, come outside and rap. And as he said, there would be no Ruby Tech if it wasn't for Sound Rock. That's the truth. Like, when people heard me, without him there, I would tell him there's someone greater than myself. I wasn't talking about the creator at that time. I was talking about Sound Rock. It was like how he puts his words together and what's not. He sharpened my skill by, you know, just out there freestyling for hours. So that was at school, and he didn't say that he's a consummate host. You know, he does hosting for shows and what's not. Very good at it because his brain is impeccable with conjuring ideas and bringing them to his tongue. And then aside from that, visual artist as well. He was one of the baddest visual artists in our class. We just put things together. So a lot of my meteoric rise, I would say, was built alongside this one. It's just sometimes he might have doubted himself. I don't know if I'll tell you that, but certain things that I want them because he wasn't there. I would no, seriously, my first freestyle battle, it was supposed to be me and Sound Rock going in, and we actually used to get chastised because people thought that we were writing the rhymes. We were not writing rhymes. We was just that good that we could bring up whole rhyme schemes about everything in this room. We're going on to the right of me, we're going on to the left of me, and as you react to it, then we would bring up the rhyme of you reacting to it. And people was like, whoa, that man writing. Like, how could you write for that? So my first freestyle battle under Ronnie Morris that I won, It was because he wasn't there. But it was if Son Rock was there, probably would have come second. Yeah, he come second.
Yeah, but I love this rivalry. I love it. And as they say, iron sharpens iron.
Yeah, it does.
So, you know, once you
Shout out to Adrian Green.
Once you have, for sure, once you have someone to kind of meet your energy or maybe just surpass it, it pushes you
Yes, it does.
to that next level. And, you know, kudos to you, Lashana, for staying true to what you love to do, even though you're moving into doing a host of other things and PR and marketing and communications and so on. You're still making sure that you're giving artists a platform. What does that mean to you personally?
It's overwhelming at times because I knew that I wanted to give persons the space that they can perform and that they can grow. And I think that 2 weeks later, people still talking about our first event, and so many people were like, we're coming out to this show. And this show, we had no choice but to move it to Cricket Legends of Barbados because the numbers were overwhelming. And we knew that Sage could not accommodate how many people want to come to this show because it's World Poetry Day. But one of the things that we wanted to do is have that interconnectiveness between persons like Ruby Tech and then younger persons like Ariel Hamilton, who's now coming up in the industry, and also honor those. So on World Poetry Day, we're doing something major. We're giving out 2 awards, not 1, but 2 awards to 2 griots, and we are so thankful that they have accepted. So you know on the 21st who they are, but it was overwhelming for me as well. At the first show, giving Adrian Green, who was my mentor, who's someone I looked up to, the first Poetry Barbados Griot Award. And even if you watch the clip, I was on the verge of tears when I was talking about him because he's someone that really inspired me. He coached me at Last NIFCA along with Sonia Williams, rest in peace to her. And to give him that award meant so much. And then the other persons that our team have decided to give awards to, it's like, you know what I mean? And when you call them, and for me, when I called them and I tell them, hey, we're looking to honor you at this show, like, people cry, babe. People cried. People said they were never acknowledged. They were never given anything. And why I choose them. And then I had to go through, well, y'all inspired us on the team. So, like, they know who the persons are. Do not say it. But those 2 persons would have inspired all of us here that we're going to be giving those awards.
All right, that's beautiful stuff. You know, it says a great deal about somebody when they're willing to swim against the tide. And that's what all 3 of you sitting in front of me have done. You know, I'm sure people would have said along the way, why don't you do the mainstream stuff, the stuff that's, that everybody else is going along with, and you were strong in your resolve that you were going to do what you were going to do. So this is coming up on the 21st, World Poetry Day, and this is a day that I'm happy that we're now celebrating a lot more because it just used to go by. So I see that Damani Ray
is coming back.
Damani Ray will be there. Stoned with Cupid, Ray, Malachi Hope, Ariel Hamilton, Dio the Poet is back.
It's back by special request. His video is actually on White Collar Crime. He did a piece called I'm Addicted to Old Women. And White Collar Crime stole the video, and it has like 25,000 views. Wow. So people have been DMing us like, is Tio going to do it again? So yes, Tio's going to be back.
White Collar Crime. Ashley Serio. And then of course Ruby Tech is going to be there. Sun Rock will be there as well.
And then we have some special guest performers that are not on the lineup that you have to come to see.
And you're honoring 2 people whom you're deeming griots of the art form.
Yes.
So that's beautiful. This certainly is flourishing into the poetry.
We're still waiting for you to come and share your work, you know. We still have a space for you.
I'm still working through that because, like I said, it takes a great deal of courage, particularly for people like me who write as a form of therapy. It's always been therapeutic for me. So all that I write is deeply personal. And even though I'm sitting on TV every day, I'm not sure that I am in a space where I'm ready to share that. So we'll see.
I think you're always sharing that because you have an impeccable use of words.
Oh, you're too sweet.
Nice.
All right, but it's good to have you here. So it's coming up on the 21st of March, and you're going to get to see these 2 guys. Are you going to battle it out?
That's the question all the time.
Wow.
I let me last time I battled Tete lost.
You know this story only goes right. He losing because of something that he did wrong,
brother.
I don't think I ever beat this man like that.
Yeah, well, we'll have to wait and see on March 21st. Yeah. You're going to be over at Cricket Legends. I wish you the very best, and I most certainly will be there.
Thank you.
I wouldn't miss it for all the tea in China.
Real
wow.
thing. On World
Well
WrestleMania.
Well said.
And the next time y'all come through, you gotta bring me a shirt too. I mean, like,
I got you covered.
I'm feeling like the Sesame Street. Of course, we're all close in age, so I'm feeling like that little thing on Sesame Street say, 3 of these things belong together.
Yeah, one of these things don't look together.
Wow.
Yeah,
and you
talk
about
That's it. Hey, and that's it for the show for today. I've had a frog in my throat all day long. I'm battling through with some allergies and things like that. So, say a few prayers for me. If you have any remedies, send them too. I'm always willing. Hey, we're going to take a break. And when I come back, we're going to wrap up today's show. And we're also going to tell you what you can expect tomorrow on Morning Barbados. Stay with us.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Every day at 7 p.m., we bring you a comprehensive news package because keeping you informed is our #1 priority. Whether it's local, regional, or international stories, our commitment is to you and keeping you reliably informed. Join us every day at 7 p.m. for CBC Newsnight.
The facts say Morning Barbados reaches an audience of over 50,000 and Newsnight reaches over 56,000. It's simple. When you advertise, you're getting your message to over 50,000 of your potential customers. Make the call to CBC Sales Department today and watch your business grow. Contact us at 467-5559 or email marketing@cbc.bb.
Morning Barbados is on the move, and we're coming to you every weekday morning from right here at the Standard Showroom in Wildey. Now, together, we're giving you an opportunity to win. All you have to do...
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
So coming up tomorrow on Morning Barbados, it'll be Thursday. That means we're going to have a good time talking to Ambassador Noel Lynch, the National Organizing Committee Chair, and we're going to be talking about the importance and benefits that can accrue to Barbados as a host for the ICC Cricket T20 Men's World Cup, that's coming up tomorrow. Also, we're talking Glaucoma Awareness Week with Dr. Dawn Grosner. She's going to be back with us to speak specifically about that. It's National Disabilities Month, so we're talking to Antoinette Chandler about rehabilitating and enabling amputees in our society. Plus, we meet some more members of the Carifta swim team that will be heading out over the weekend to represent Barbados. That's all tomorrow on Morning Barbados. So join us then. Wear your smiles, do something good for somebody, and come on back tomorrow. All right? Have a good one. Bye-bye.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Barbados, get up. Good morning.